With Real Madrid beating Mallorca 2-1 at the Bernabeu and Kylian Mbappé reaching 40 goals in all competitions, everyone is asking themselves one question. Has Kylian Mbappe's first season at Real Madrid been a success? Welcome back to the channel, people. You know the face, you know the name. Aaron here, back again with another video. Shout out to everyone supporting. I appreciate you guys supporting me on the last video, man. The last video has done really well. And if you want to see more of that, please let me know in the comment section below. And yeah, we're going to have fun making these. It's a long summer, lots of content to be done, lots of football to be watched and played. Don't forget that, and played. And yeah, shout out to everyone supporting, man. I really appreciate that. So don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, share, comment, all of that good stuff. You're helping the channel massively by doing these things for me. Remember, it's the algorithm that counts. Let's help this video being pushed to the right people. But back to the original question, has Kylian Mbappe's first season at Los Blancos been a success? If you look at the numbers, some might say yes, and so would I. 54 games in all competitions, 40 goals in all competitions. That is absolutely insane. A lot of people compared his first season to Ronaldo's first season at the club. He's eclipsed Ronaldo, and he's probably going to score more towards the end of the season. How many games are left in La Liga? 1, 2. He's going to score at least 1 or 2 more. So he's already eclipsed Ronaldo when it comes to that. Scored very important goals as well. Not in all the important games, but you think of the hat-trick against Man City in the Champions League phase, qualification round to go to the knockout stage. You think about the hat-trick that he scored last weekend against Barcelona. He scored very important goals and has been decisive in some games for Real Madrid. But, of course, fans are going to look at the end result and they're going to go, well, you scored all of these goals, but you didn't win La Liga. You didn't win the Copa del Rey. You didn't win the Champions League. And you didn't win the Supercopa. Or should I say Spanish Super Cup? I don't even know if that's called the way I pronounced it. But anyway, he didn't win the Spanish Super Cup. So all of these titles have just gone one by one in front of Mbappé, one by one. So in terms of numbers, yes, absolutely. In terms of the titles, now that's where the conversation is going to be had. And people are going to look at certain games where Mbappé did not turn up. You look at the Champions League semi-final, 2 legs against Arsenal, did not really turn up. You look at the games, decisive games against Barcelona, the Super Cup. Although he scored, didn't really have the impact that he perhaps wanted to have himself, and didn't really have the impact that the fans were hoping that he was going to have. Copa del Rey, same thing. Even though he scored a fantastic free kick coming off the bench, I think there was a tiny bit more of an expectation, especially from Madrid fans, because they expect the best of the best at all times. And I think you could throw in some of the antics on the pitch in there as well. You know, at first when he came in, the talk was, how is he going to link up with Vinny? How is he going to link up with Rodrigo? How is he going to link up with Jude Bellingham? Is there going to be a chemistry? That was the talk. That was the talk of the town. Those were the questions people were asking. Now, I'm looking at this and I'm going, I think with certain players, he has, I don't want to say a bigger relationship, but you get my point. On the pitch, that is. Because off the pitch, I don't know if these guys are friends. I don't know. But on the pitch, it feels like he's got more of an understanding with certain players than other players, if that makes sense. Like, for example, I'm not a Madrid fan. I don't claim to watch every Madrid game, but it looks like he has a better understanding with someone like a Jude Bellingham than he does with someone like a Vinny. I remember at the start of the season, and that's what everyone noticed, him and Vinny were constantly running into each other's way because they both like to play off the left, they both like to drift in, and they both like to cut in and shoot. So the fact that they both love to cut in and shoot kind of caused that little bit of confusion. And you could see sometimes in the previous game, I've seen some clips going around, the game against Barcelona, where Vinny was doing stuff that kind of, you know, annoyed Mbappé a little bit. Vice versa. Mbappé was doing stuff maybe that annoyed Vinny a little bit. So maybe there's a bit of ego in there as well. Of course, as we're talking about Mbappé and Vinny Jr., two of the biggest stars in the world of football. But I do think there's a bit of work to be done in terms of their chemistry, in terms of their camaraderie and how they understand each other on the pitch. And yeah, I think that needs some work on, that needs some work on. And I think at the start of the season, I also said that Mbappé was undergoing a cerebral reset in terms of football. He was almost being forced to play in that number 9 because I think he said it multiple times. He likes playing off the left. Remember at PSG, for those who follow Ligue 1, remember at PSG when, what was that PSG manager again? I forgot his name. The guy that was at Lille before. I'm going to have to research that, my friends. Really sorry about that. PSG managers. French guy. See, his name it's in my head, but I can't. Hold on. Christophe Galtier, there we go. When Christophe Galtier was the PSG manager, and Christophe Galtier tried to play Mbappé in the same position that Ancelotti was playing him, which is in the number 9, Mbappé wasn't really happy with that. If you remember well, after every game, Mbappé would go on social media and post something and finish the post or finish the caption with a hashtag pivot gang. And if you know, in the French language, pivot doesn't mean the same as pivot in English, but the word pivot actually means number 9. You're at the service of your teammates, which Mbappé did not want to be at PSG. He wanted to be the main man. He wanted to be at the start of an attack, if possible, and at the end of it. So there was no discussion. He was not happy with that. And with those hashtag pivot gang posts on social media, he was indirectly letting the club, his teammates, and Christophe Galtier know that he did not want to play in that position. Fast forward a few years later to Real Madrid. He's being forced, like I said, almost, to play in that position because at Madrid, they were like, listen, we've got Vinny playing off the left. So Mbappé, yes, you're this big superstar, but whether you like it or not, you're going to have to play in that number 9 position and you will learn the hard way. And I think it took him a bit of taking his ego out of the equation to understand, okay, I'm at the biggest club in the world now. I can't be doing my antics that I was doing, or I can't be doing the same antics that I was doing at PSG because if I even dare, Florentino Perez is going to give me one look and I'm out of this team. So I think Mbappé has learned to live with the idea to play in the middle, or through the middle, I should say, which is something really and truly he should have mastered at PSG, because at PSG, Luis Enrique was playing him in that same position as well, in that same position. And if you remember that famous clip of Luis Enrique telling Mbappé, if you want to be the leader, you have to be pressing from the get-go. You have to be pressing from the start. If you do it, the rest will follow. And it was very unfortunate that he didn't take it that serious at PSG, because if he would have taken it serious then, I think his start of the season at Real Madrid could have been even better. And we could have been sat here, or I could have been sat here, talking about even more numbers, and he could have been even more decisive for Real Madrid in certain games. So I think with Mbappé, it's just a question of accepting that role of a number 9. Yes, during the game, they're interchanging all the time. Him, Vinny, Rodrigo, sometimes Mbappé will be on the right, he'll be on the left, and then he'll be through the middle again. I think it's just accepting the fact that off the left, it's not the be-all and end-all for Mbappé. And as soon as he understands that, I mean, he's going to score as many goals as he wants. And I know with Ronaldo, it was a bit different, because Ronaldo had that famous knee injury where he kind of he was forced he was forced to adapt his game and become a poacher rather than being on the left-hand side, dribbling like he did back in the day, cutting in and shooting, skinning people. He was forced to change his game. Mbappé still has his legs. Thankfully, he's never been able to undergo surgery, or I think he's never had a serious injury. So he still has that juice. He still has that explosiveness to be able to play through the middle, make those runs. That's another thing that Mbappé needs to learn, I think, for next season. There's way too many games where I was watching CBS and Thierry Henry was doing the analysis and he was saying some of the runs that you need to make as a number 9, Jude Bellingham was making those runs, but from a deeper position. So I understood Henry's concern because he was like, you're the number 9, you're the main man. You need to be constantly making those runs because Mbappé is quick. Once he's gone, it's very hard to catch him unless you're as quick as him. So it was very confusing to me as well to see Jude Bellingham make those number 9 runs that Mbappé should have been making. You know, Mbappé, in certain games, that was what frustrated me as well. And I mentioned the Arsenal games in the Champions League, the 2 legs. I think he was too busy with trying to drop down to midfield, trying to get involved in play. No, I'm not saying stay up front, but keep the centre-backs occupied. Keep them busy with your pace. Fake a run if you have to. Do what you have to do to help the team and make life easier for yourself. You know, make life easier for yourself. So back to the original question. Has it been a successful season for Mbappé at Real Madrid? A successful first season? In terms of numbers, yes. In terms of trophies and gameplay, I would say no. So let me know what you think in the comment section below, guys. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Again, I appreciate your support. I appreciate all of the love, the comments, everybody, you know, supporting the boy, you know. Let's keep doing this. And like I said, long summer ahead, lots of football to be watched, talked about, and loads of football to talk about, to watch, and to play. There we go. I got it. I got it in the end. Anyway, people, it's road to 20K. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'm out. Peace.